All right, let's talk about a tool that, for many of us, has become a daily habit: video conferencing. Think about it. The platforms we all jumped on a few years ago were really emergency solutions for a different world. But now, as we're looking ahead, a really important question is starting to pop up. Is the default choice we all made still the right choice for our business?
This quote really hits home. I think a lot of professionals can relate to that feeling. That little nagging sense that the main tool you rely on is actually causing more problems than it's solving. It's that moment you realize your software isn't just a tool, it's actually become a roadblock. And that's the big question we're digging into today. Just because a platform is a household name, does that automatically make it the best tool for what you do? Especially when your activities are designed to make money. We're going to unpack the huge difference between a one-size-fits-all tool and something that's truly built for a specific purpose. Okay, so let's dive into what's being called the default dilemma. Why is this tool that everybody and their mother knows suddenly getting a hard look from the very professionals who need it to run their businesses? And here we go, this is the absolute heart of the issue. Zoom was fundamentally designed as a communication tool for massive companies, for big enterprises. But if you're a coach, a consultant, an entrepreneur, someone using video to actually sell and deliver a service, your needs are totally different. It really drives home this core idea: just because something's popular doesn't mean it's the right fit for the job you need it to do. So we're talking about friction, but what does that actually feel like day to day? Well, the research points to some very common frustrations that are making pros look for other options. And listen, these aren't just small pet peeves. We're talking about things that can directly hit your wallet and your professional reputation. The source material boils it all down to these 4 big headaches. First, hitting that sudden unprofessional time limit. Second, a pricing model that feels like you're on a scavenger hunt for the features you need. Third, an interface that's just bloated with stuff you'll never use. And finally, a workflow that feels like it's been duct-taped together. Let's look at a couple of these up close. This quote from Sarah, a business coach, just nails it, doesn't it? Hitting invisible walls. And it's not just about the 40-minute cutoff on the free plan. You could be on a paid plan and then suddenly realize that a key feature, like webinars, has its own secret limits, forcing you into an upgrade you didn't see coming. It's a huge liability when your platform just cuts you off mid-sentence with a client. And this slide right here, this is a perfect visual for that duct-taped together feeling. Just to run a single webinar, you have to jump between 6 different parts of the platform. Every step is in a different menu, which just creates this mental drag and wastes time that you should be spending on your actual business. Okay, so we've laid out the problems with that one-size-fits-all approach pretty clearly. But what does the alternative actually look like? This is where the whole philosophy starts to shift, focusing on platforms that were designed for a very specific purpose right from the start. Wow, okay, this comparison table really lays it all out, side by side. It makes the 2 different design philosophies crystal clear. On one side, you've got a tool built for huge companies to communicate internally. On the other, a platform built from the ground up for business monetization. One's for meetings, the other is for money-making sessions with clients. It's a really fundamental difference. And it all boils down to this one simple, powerful idea. One platform is built for IT departments that have to manage thousands of employees. The other is designed for the solo business owner, the person who needs to look incredibly professional without having to become a tech wizard. So that's a nice philosophy, but how does it actually solve those real-world frustrations we were just talking about? Let's connect the dots and see how a purpose-built platform tackles those specific pain points head-on. Remember that crazy, disjointed webinar workflow? The solution here is, well, it's beautifully simple actually. A single, unified dashboard. One place where you manage everything. And the goal isn't just to be convenient. It's about getting rid of that mental gymnastics of constantly switching between different tools.
And what about that frustrating game of feature hunting through confusing pricing plans? The alternative philosophy is just total transparency. One single price where the core features you need, like webinars, are just included. They're not held back as some expensive add-on. The whole idea is to give you predictable, honest costs you can actually budget for.
And to fight that feeling of interface bloat, the focus shifts to being genuinely intuitive. The goal is to make the platform so easy that your clients can join your calls without needing a tech support session. That frees you up to focus on your presentation, not on being an IT help desk. Now check this out. This number is a really powerful piece of data from the source. 80%.
That's the drop in client-related tech support requests that one financial consultant saw just 2 weeks after switching platforms. Think about that. That's 80% less time wasted playing tech support and 80% more time focused on actual billable work.
So you might be thinking, okay, but is this even for me? Well, the source is super clear that this kind of tool isn't for everybody. It's laser focused on this niche of professionals who make money with their time on video. We're talking coaches, consultants, educators, and small businesses who really need to look polished without all the enterprise-level complexity.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. We've looked at the problems and a purpose-built solution. So how do you actually make the right call for your business? Let's boil this down to a really simple framework.
The source presents this really clear guide. A purpose-built tool like MEETN.app is probably the right move if your main business is turning your expertise into revenue through video and you value simplicity above all else. But hey, if you're part of a massive company with a whole IT department to back you up, then an enterprise platform like Zoom might still be the best fit.
And you know, this whole conversation isn't really just about these two apps. It's actually part of a much bigger trend we're seeing. Professionals are starting to move away from generic, do-everything software and are actively seeking out tools that are custom-built for their specific industry and workflow. It's all about finding the absolute right tool for the job.
I think this final quote from the analysis just perfectly crystallizes the entire argument. It's such a subtle but incredibly powerful difference. Let me say it again. Zoom is a communication platform that can be used for business. MEETN.app is a business platform built around communication. Which one you need says everything about what you're trying to accomplish.
And that really just leaves us with this one final question to chew on. Seriously, take a hard look at the tools you use every single day. Are they actively helping you hit your business goals? Are they saving you time and making you look more professional? Or are you constantly twisting your business into knots just to work around the limitations of your software? For any professional today, that's a really crucial question to ask.